Mr. Butt Fumble himself, man.
Now, this is a weird story, man. So it broke over the weekend that Mark Sanchez was in the hospital being treated after a stabbing incident. Now, when I first saw that, I was like, "What the heck happened to him?" Like,
Oh, man.
I said, "Did somebody try to like rob him? Like, what happened here? Was this like a Ricky Pearsall situation,
Right, right, right.
or what happened?" Then more details comes out, and apparently, according to the reports, Mark Sanchez was wasted and got into a physical altercation with a service worker who tried to defend himself. Long story short, Mark Sanchez ends up in the hospital, and now this service worker is suing not only Mark Sanchez but Fox Sports as well.
Rightfully
So
so, man. Rightfully so.
this is quite the bizarre story, man. So this says Mark Sanchez and Fox sued after alleged assault in Indianapolis. Mark Sanchez and the network that employs him are both being sued in connection with the violent incident that occurred over the weekend in Indianapolis. According to court documents reviewed by Complex, delivery driver Perry Toll accused the former NFL quarterback of assault and battery in a civil complaint filed on October 6th. In the lawsuit, Toll alleges 38-year-old Sanchez appeared intoxicated and instigated the altercation on October 4th while the plaintiff was working at the loading dock of the Westin Hotel. Toll claims Sanchez tried to enter his work truck without permission, blocked him from using his phone, and physically shoved him, prompting Toll to use pepper spray in self-defense. Despite this, the altercation escalated, and Toll says it left him with serious injuries to his head, jaw, and neck. The man also claims he was left with severe permanent disfigurement, loss of function, other physical injuries, and emotional distress, among other damages. Toll is also suing Fox Corporation, Sanchez's employer, for negligent hiring, retention, and supervision. He claims Fox knew or should have known that Sanchez was unfit for employment due to a propensity for drinking and harmful behavior.
Oh, wow.
Sanchez was arrested after being stabbed multiple times during the confrontation. He now faces charges including felony battery involving serious bodily injury, misdemeanor battery, public intoxication, and unlawful entry of a motor vehicle. Sanchez had been scheduled to call the Indianapolis Colts versus Las Vegas Raiders game for Fox Sports in Indianapolis, but was replaced by Brady Quinn after the incident. Toll is seeking compensatory and punitive damages as well as legal costs. Oh, so what do you make of this, man? This is such a weird, bizarre story, bro.
It is. Like, I heard about it. I heard about, Mark getting caught up in a situation on Fox. They was, saying, "Oh, let's pray for Mark Sanchez," and blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh man, that's crazy." Right before he was about to go do a game, so I'm thinking that just typical unfortunate situation. But then once the details started to come out about this, a 69-year-old man or something like that said, this guy, the worker guy, I think they've said that his job is to just pick up used oil, in his truck, and he's just there to do his job to pick up oil from the hotel. And Mark Sanchez just literally runs up on him like, what kind of drunken rage is that, man? Like, I don't get that. But apparently, at least that's what the narrative is at this point, that, Sanchez pulled up on him. The old man pepper sprayed Sanchez. And Sanchez just went rampage mode and just ran up on Buddy. Once I saw the, I don't know if we can't show it here, guys, but if you guys look at the photo of the guy that was in this attack, that guy got done in pretty good. So Sanchez, I don't know how this is going to play out for him. But a 69-year-old man, looking like that in the hospital, it's not a good look.
Yeah,
it's not a good look. So Fox Sports is the pits. It's the pits of sports entertainment. If you get fired from Fox Sports, you're pretty much done. Um, and honestly, I'm not trying to project anything here. An investigation still has to be done. The right pieces got to fall in place. But this is really looking like a situation where Mr. Sanchez is cooked here. And he's probably gonna he's gonna have to find another way, make his own podcast or join somebody else's podcast because I don't see how anybody's gonna not see this the wrong way. Whether Sanchez was the aggressor or the old man, but I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be unless there's like some real good footage. I see the image of some CCTV footage of Mark Sanchez walking ominously down a street alleyway. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that there's more footage of this. So if there's more footage that comes out that lets Mark off the hook, then so be it. But I'm telling you right now, on paper, this looks like a wild situation that Mark Sanchez is on the wrong side of history on. And I guess once the facts actually come out, this guy might be done at Fox and may have a hard time recovering in the public's eye when it comes to anything media related. So, which is this guy's bread and butter at this point in his life. So, wild situation, bro. I really don't know what to make of it. I just think it's an insane story. Every detail that I've heard of this, it gets even more bizarre. But to me on paper, it looks like Sanchez may have been in the wrong here.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts, man, on Mark Sanchez allegedly attacking an old man in an alleyway? Okay, it may not be in an alleyway, but attacking an old man and getting stabbed himself, Mark Sanchez, that is, multiple times. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, at least up to this point, it's looking like Mark Sanchez is the assailant.
Yeah.
In the matter. Hey, look, man, reading through that article and seeing what the guy is suing Fox for, normally I would roll my eyes and see, and like normally reading something like that, I'd roll my eyes and say this is overly litigious.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular instance, I'm kind of okay with it. Assuming that the reports are true, like I think Sanchez is done.
Yeah,
I don't think Sanchez is going to be on Fox anymore.
Yeah.
So if Sanchez continues to have a career in media, it'll be some low key network that people don't really watch like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't going to be a major network like ESPN or Fox or something like that. He's done as far as that's concerned, as far as I can tell. So like you said, it'll be his own podcast or it'll be more low key thing or local radio or something like that. And in terms of mainstream, I think he's done. Having said that, the only reason why I bring that up is because despite that, he's going to be fine. He's going to be good. Yeah. So I'm not crying a river for him necessarily because this to me isn't a situation where he said something disagreeable and now people are trying to cancel him. Like it kind of looks like he was just, shark faced and went in on somebody and he went in on somebody because he wasn't in his right state of mind.
Yeah.
And so, having said that, even though I am typically averse to overly litigious situations, I'm okay with this one because number one, Sanchez is going to be all right, and number two, this Toll guy is Perry Toll. That's his name, Perry Toll. Man, like I sympathize and empathize with service workers. You know what I'm saying? Service workers, laborers got it hard enough out here as it is. You know what I'm saying? Like people who have to work for a living, thanklessly have to put in far too many hours and far too many days for not nearly a commensurate return on what they are earning. You know what I'm saying? And so if a byproduct of this very weird, bizarre situation is him being able to score a legal victory that sees him earning compensatory damages from someone and an entity that can afford to part ways with it, as in Fox, then you know what I'm saying? I hope that that's the result, because him being somebody who apparently was just minding his own business and doing his job and now has to deal with stuff like this, like it's ridiculous. And I just, this to me is, I'm kind of speaking from a personal point of view, being somebody who has and continues to work for a living, and being someone who has worked in the service industry and been a service worker and has, for the vast majority of my life, been a laborer. You're getting your butt whipped every day via working, right? And so it kind of sucks to not only get your butt whipped every day having to go to work and clock in, but then you just kind of unceremoniously get your butt whipped by a belligerently drunk Mark Sanchez.
Right.
Like, nobody wants that. So I hope that this results in, and again, to be reasonable, I don't want to see Mark Sanchez kind of get cast off into like professional purgatory where he can never work again. Like, I hope the guy gets another. I hope the guy continues to earn a livelihood in some capacity in sports media, because that's clearly what he's good at doing and that's what he likes doing. So I
Mhm.
don't want to see him sulk away into obscurity for forever. But at the same time, if a cost for him to pay is he no longer works for Fox anymore, and then this guy receives some compensatory damages, and maybe he doesn't have to be a laborer anymore, I'd be good with that result.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know, man. Like, I know that there's, the happy drunks and the angry drunks. Um, and I'm sure there's often times where there's just drunk guys that get overly aggressive in the streets all the time and get into fist fights and stuff. But um, I don't know, man. Like, you really gotta be on one to be at a hotel because you're about to do a game the next night.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the only reason why you're in the lovely city of Indianapolis, shout out to Indianapolis, okay, is because you got a game tomorrow. So on top of the world in many respects. So I don't know. I mean, the article alludes. I don't know. I didn't know about that, but the article alludes to him being an abuser of alcohol. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if there was another controlled substance that had him influenced. But yeah, man, this is too much smoke around this situation to go. I don't know. Mark Sanchez is in the innocent. Um, this guy literally, picks up used oil from places. Like, this guy,
So
he's
weird.
old as I don't know what. Like, he's not out here, to mess with people.
Weird.
It's a weird situation, man. So honestly, I don't know what the takeaway from this could be, outside of, just being grateful for where you're at. You might not be in a Mark Sanchez situation where you get, your job flying you out and, giving you hotel accommodations or something, but it's still a situation where, just being grateful for where you at and not blowing it, trying to have a good time. But it sounds like this is something that Mark may have been dealing with for a while. And honestly, it might be because, I don't know, there's no statistics on this, but I would highly argue that, first time getting drunkers or casual drinkers don't turn aggressive. This might be some CTE stuff. If I were him, I would holler that in court, and say, hey, man, I got hit in the head too many times. So, forgive me. Sometimes I have fits of rage. So maybe he can play this off, man, and, duck and roll. But, if I was a member of this guy's family, the guy that, the old man is just trying to do his thing, you damn right. I want the Sanchez check and the Fox check because the Fox was paying him to be there.
Yeah.
One thing that I did when, during C-19, when my job sent me home, they was like, all right, man, you can leave the house, you know, you need to be working at home. I'm like, all right, cool, man. They said, but if you leave the house, you have to clock out. And they were telling me that because if I'm just out and I'm on the clock, you know, they're not technically liable, but they kind of are, you know, and they don't want to be responsible for me doing anything and, car accident, God forbid, or anything else like that. So there's like, just clock out when you're about to leave the house or, stuff like that. So, and the reason why they say that is because we're paying for you to be here. So Fox was paying for Sanchez to be there. One of their people, that man that's getting paid currently at that moment, is beating my behind. Yeah, I want everybody money. So, yeah, man. Shouts out to the old man for defending himself. I don't think Sanchez was going to take his life, but maybe he was. Man. Who knows what Mark Sanchez was on that night, man? These photos look eerie. When I'm walking in the hallway like that.
This is just so weird, man. It's just weird. Like I don't have a rhyme or reason to make of it. It's just weird. That is a bizarre, just Mark Sanchez gets into a guy's truck and then they start fighting and he gets stabbed. And it's just a weird story. It's weird.
So random, man.
But I don't know if it's a good or bad omen, but Mark Sanchez's wife is also named Perry. So, because the guy who he assaulted, allegedly, his name's Perry. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a good omen, or on the other hand, perhaps it's a bad omen. But, it's just, it's funnily coincidental that his wife has the same name as this guy. But who knows what's going to happen, man. But listen, shouts out to all my service workers out there.
Yeah, sure.
The backbone of America.
That's right.
People who have to work for a living but get no appreciation whatsoever because American culture is running around idolizing weird celebrities and athletes. You guys are the real MVPs, and hopefully the resolution is sufficient for this guy because no one wants to deal with stuff like that when you're already dealing with enough having to go to work every day.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah, shouts out to Buddy, man. You know what I'm saying, laid up in a hospital bed. Get well soon, bro.